all those years that you covered the NBA, I was just curious, did you have a favorite Kobe Bryant story?
Dozens. I guess the one that jumps out was the night before his last game, when he had not been playing much towards the end in terms of minutes, but ramped it up towards the end, and we didn't think he had a ton of minutes in him, and he ends up taking 50 shots and scoring 60 points.
But also, I think you and Hubie were talking about. We've been told that he's going to play a certain number of minutes,
yes.
or right? I remember that, and he just stayed in there. Like you were going, we don't know how long he's going to play, certain number of minutes or points, and next thing you knew, he's staying out there.
And that came from the pregame meeting. So, as you know, Dan, from the times that we all were working NBA and finals and different things like that, sometimes you get a player who will come in after a morning shoot-around. Rarely, but you might get a player, in that hour and a half before tip. The locker rooms are always open, but it's always hard to find the star guy in the locker room, right? But for Kobe's last game, we got Kobe for several minutes pregame. Just me, Hubie Brown, Lisa Salters was our sideline reporter, Ed Fibershoff was our producer for that game, and Kobe gave us like 15, 20 minutes. It was just really good. It was the ultimate respect that so many people around the league have for Hubie Brown, and it was just a great conversation. And we left there knowing he was going to give it as much as he had, but never thinking for a second that he had 50 shots or 60 points. Not even close. And it's when they re-aired the game the night after Kobe passed, I was standing there. I was in a hotel in Connecticut. I was just standing there watching the game, and I realized about 25 minutes later that I was frozen standing watching the game. I did the game. It wasn't like I was watching how we called the game. It just took me back to how incredible that evening was for a terrible Lakers team. It looked like it was an atmosphere for the finals, and you just kind of pinch yourself because you never thought you'd be watching it through that prism just a short time later.
And that show, that Monday after Kobe died, I said, it's going to sound strange to this audience, but the one word that always stood out with Kobe was he was curious. He's the most curious athlete I've ever been around. There, no matter what you were talking about, like he wanted to learn. If he didn't know, that he wanted to learn, and if he did learn, he wanted to learn to be better. And that was always impressed me. But I think his approach was, whether it was being a father, being a husband, being an entrepreneur, being a basketball player, the curiosity is what he was trying to figure out. How do I be great at everything, whether it was basketball or not? And I found that fascinating. I have not come across somebody that curious in 35 years.
People always ask, Dan, hey, when you go talk to players, you do these production meetings we often talk about in network TV sports, who are the guys you enjoy talking to the most? And I say, look, I hate to be boring, but Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees, and Kobe Bryant, and players like that who are the best players, because there's an intellectual, as you said so well, like an intellectual fascination and curiosity to go with their athletic brilliance. Like that the triangulation of those two things plus opportunity yield the greatest players in sports. It doesn't just happen. They have thought about every aspect of it. When you talk to LeBron, there was a post-game interview on ESPN, I think it was this week, after LeBron hit the shot, maybe in the Celtic game, Lakers-Celtic game on Sunday. LeBron giving you that detail about, you're like, oh, he didn't just back him down and take a shot? No, they've thought about this. They live it every second. And when they share that with you in those settings, you kind of understand why the greats are the great.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.